Boom. Banger of a game for number 2 of the day. Number 3 coming up very shortly indeed. And I'm excited to get into all the action. So why don't we just talk about anything but the action? Rusty, what did you do with your 5-minute break?
Made tea.
Ooh.
Which is important because I'm constantly losing my voice lately.
Okay, that's a big tea. I'm right there with you, except I'm still on the 7:50 p.m. coffees.
Oh,
so
shit.
we're just chilling, mate. It's okay.
That's a mug and a half, Mac.
Jordan, do you have a mug there quickly before we start talking teams?
I have a glass of water.
Oh, good on you, mate. Did you get that one off DoorDash?
Yeah, actually, they brought the glass as well for me, which was really nice.
That's so
Thought
damn
I'd get it in a
lovely.
plastic cup, but they've gone the extra mile, which is great.
Oh, you love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Now, something else you love to see is both of these teams. Let's talk Peace first, though. So they have not had a whole lot of success since these roster swaps, but Rusty, is today the day where they turn it around?
It's really hard to say exactly when it will be that Peace will click and we will get to see the Peace that we all expect, right? And we all have high expectations for a team like this. The fact that the players themselves as they join say anything less than winning is failure, anything less than Worlds is failure, right? Now they're in a position where they're 7-6 and almost have more losses than they do wins as a roster this split. I mean, that's so far off the expectations that perhaps not only they have for themselves, but the viewers have of them. So will we see it today? I think fundamentally what we saw from them yesterday was very rough. So I don't have the highest confidence in them, but we all know that the potential is there. And they're also good enough individuals, Mac, that they can just have a pop-off game, right? Like just one of them could do enough to carry.
Yeah, it certainly is the case. Now, we get to see some familiar faces in this sick clip, but we have some Peace content for you guys, so check out this team profile.
Teleport's being forced here. This could be the play. It got cancelled.
The TP got cancelled. This could be huge. Halo, Appy, they might just finish the game right now, Rusty. I don't believe it. That turret not quite going to go down in time. It's BioPanther. But what's he going to do? He's a Lulu. He's up in the air. He's going to die. It doesn't matter. The Nexus is going to go down. Peace have found the victory from the jaws of defeat. I don't even know what to say. Halo's dabbing. Get that off my screen. Unbelievable.
I think our approach has changed quite a bit, bringing on Babip. We have a different view, and we take a more calculated approach this time. It's a bitter taste, losing finals like that. Improvement across the split has had a good trajectory, so I think it's going to be a lot different this split.
We are a crazy team. We will not feel like we're behind. Like even we're behind, we still want to take the fight and try our mechanic. So we always tell each other like it's still possible to win because we're just better player.
Exterminate Dragku. Now it's on. Babip joins the fight once again. Appy, essentially 2 versus 1, and he's winning it. And in the end, there isn't really a whole lot here for the Chiefs. Violet eeing forward, feeling supremely confident. Liv will not survive.
A lot of people describe Peace as like a pretty one-dimensional team. Like I get a lot of resources bought, and some games that is true, but that's only because I'm one of the best AD carries in the league. I also want to be able to like show that we can carry through any lane.
I can feel like the energy is good between everyone. Everyone is really driven to wanting to win, and everyone's just super focused on the task at hand.
Even when we're behind in games, we can find opportunities all the time to out-macro our opponents or catch people out. So people have to play really well to close out games against us, and you'll see that, I think, in this upcoming split.
I would say this is just like the starting point for us. Obviously, our goal is to win and go to Worlds. I think anything but taking it all out and going to Worlds would be a disappointment for us.
We're a very explosive team. With every small lead that we get, we're able to like take over games through any lane we choose to play through.
I'm very confident that I can make the difference for Peace, and I'm just really grateful that this opportunity has come to me, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Didn't go MSI on split 1, but I'm just telling you guys, I'm pretty sure we're going to Worlds this split.
I'd say you better get ready and cheese us, because there's no way you'll ever win if you're playing standard. That's all. Just cheese us.
As you can see, of course, that was filmed at the start of the split, so a couple of things have changed since then, but it was always good to hear the players and their perspective on things and how it could have changed from then to now, But it is a battle of 2 teams, and we need to talk about Order as well, who have been playing out of their minds lately. Let's have a chat about them, shall we, Jordan?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying watching Order over the last few weeks. I mean, they did have a loss yesterday, or no, even at the end of last week, I should say, against Pentanet. But aside from that, it's mostly been wins coming through. I mean, they've been looking pretty good. Puma has certainly been a highlight point. We've talked a lot about Kevy. Yesterday, their game against Direwolves fills you with a lot of confidence as well, because I feel like, you know, you look at the teams they've gone up against, they've beaten Gravitas, you think, okay, fine, Gravitas is Gravitas, but then they beat the Chiefs last week, and then they beat Direwolves this week. So you start to go, okay, well, if they can beat Chiefs and Direwolves, there's a pretty good chance that they can beat Peace today as well, given the fact that Peace have been going through some struggles lately. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from Order. I feel like they're a pretty informed team, and up against an out-of-form Peace, I don't think... Look, this might actually be a bit of a controversial statement, but I don't think it's unrealistic to say that they're the favourites in this match.
Yeah, I can see the world where that is the case. Of course, off recent performance, that is certainly true. Now, Nat, do you resonate with the same sort of thoughts?
Surprisingly, not overly. I think... Oh, actually, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's a lot closer than a lot of people are giving it credit to, but maybe I just have, you know, hope for an underdog or the dark horse, and Peace just, like, finally clicked tonight.
Okay. Very true. Now, that's enough about us. You got some players down there to hear from as well?
I do. I have the top laners, Italia and Max, to join me for the pre-game interview. Thank you both so much for joining me. Max, how is the confidence down there in Order for tonight's game?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think we try not to be too overconfident heading into any game, especially since Peace are so strong individually. Despite their underperformances, we all know that they're very good individual players. But that being said, we have given our recent performance in our recent form where we are feeling pretty confident that we can take this game.
I like to see it. Now, Tally, first thing I'm going to point out is you're in the house. How is it down there?
I mean, I'm just glad to be in the house with the team. So I think like gaming houses are really, really broken when you can all like spend time together and bond and like discuss stuff out of game really easily. So I'm like glad to be here now.
Do you think it might just be the gaming house buff to get tonight's win?
I hope so. I mean, it didn't really work yesterday, so.
Hey, new day, you know? How are you feeling, though, about the performance of Peace so far, and also your individual performance at the LCO?
I think as a team, it's definitely disappointing. Like, we've been underperforming. Like, we can't really pinpoint the issue. Like, not to like really make an excuse, but like just because of Super Week, we have like less scrims and less time to figure out like what exactly could be the fix. Individually, I think like there has been times where I could have 1v9 the games based on the resources I was given, but like I'm not too disappointed with how I'm playing, but I think I could do much, much more.
Now, Max, last time you guys faced off against Peace, they didn't have Tally in the top lane. Do you think this new roster could give you the advantage to have a win, or does it intimidate you at all?
I think there's like upsides and downsides to the new roster changes. I think last time we played it was against Lisa support, and now they have Appy support. Obviously Tally top. I think the top lane has definitely upgraded. I'm not too sure how support will go. From the look of last night's game, it looks like it's not as strong, but it is very early days. I think this roster is slightly more manageable than the old Peace roster, the one with Eldoric. So hopefully that'll give us a bit of an edge.
Alrighty, well, I look forward to the game. Thank you both so much for joining me, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oofed. Straight from the horse's mouth, hey? So, or to think that this one is more manageable than the last lineup. Let's see how it goes this time, as it is a bit of a rematch. So let's jump straight into predictions. Have a quick look at what you guys think is going to happen. Order on the first page. And another, actually no, we got a W with Twitch chat, so maybe I'm not disappointed in you, who knows. Let's see how you go by the end of the night, and I could revoke your doing my prediction privileges, and we could set up something else, another tally somewhere. But let's jump on to page number 2, have a look at what Nat's gone for. Nat's on the Peace bandwagon, okay.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be the only one on the Peace bandwagon, but I have Groovy Juvie on my side, which makes me feel a little bit better about I don't want to give away too much when you asked me earlier, but I really do think that, I don't know, I do think that it's a lot closer than a lot of people giving credit for. I think Order are known to dropping the ball sometimes, and I just really hope that Peace have found the opportunities to sort of get the snowball rolling.
I think it's one of those games where the draft is going to have a huge influence
Yeah.
into which way the game's going to go, and I believe it's ready. So I'm not going to keep anyone waiting too much longer. It's time to watch Order and Peace.
All right, well, looking forward to this one because it's going to be an absolute banger, or at least I hope that it will be. Water have been on the up and up, and in fact, they're actually higher in the standings than Peace are, which is probably not something that I would have expected going into this split. But the way that I kind of look at this is very similar to the first match of the day so far. I sort of look at it as Order is a team that is in form. They're performing better than Peace is at this current point in time, but maybe Peace looks like a better team overall. And that's kind of where I was sitting with the Chiefs versus Direwolves. I went with the Chiefs in that last matchup. I was sort of favoring the team that I think was quote-unquote the better team for the season. But I didn't favor the form team, and now I've gone for the form team. So let's see if Order can uphold their end of the bargain, as we do see those bans starting to come through. Maximize is going to be locking in the Graves early on in the piece, which we can only imagine is going to be headed over towards Kevy. Certainly a specialty pick for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Graves pick itself is really big for Kevy. 12-1 on his last performance. Lulu being banned away, still leaving Karma available, is an interesting point of note through the first 6 bans. I do think Lulu is just a very good champion. Of course, while it did lose last game, it's still very prevalent. And to no one's surprise, I think Peace lock in what they do as their 1-2 here on red side. My eyes move much more towards Order's 2-3 here and where they choose to go. Graves can be flexible for solo laners potentially, but yeah, this exists. And I feel like one of the big traps that we saw earlier today was a Ziggs without support that was good with it, that kind of got pigeonholed into a weird matchup. I think if you can go for the support first and hold those other champions like the AD carries and go with it, I do think that opens the floor for Puma to play a couple of interesting options. So I wouldn't mind a support lock-in first.
Yeah, we do get that support lock-in as well. And obviously also the Viego to go up into the top lane, maybe, we would assume. Although I suppose Chungy could take it into mid as well. I mean, Leona into this bot lane, I feel like it's not a fun lane to play as Leona. If you can get on top of them, you can make it work. But in terms of managing to lock down an Ezreal, we all know how difficult that can be at times. Babip's going to be able to pick up the Hecarim here, which is another comfort selection from him. And one other thing to actually say towards that Viego is that it takes it away from Tally. I feel like that's been his go-to champion since returning to Oceania. So not a bad pick up for Order out of those first couple of picks. Orianna banned away. That'll be targeted towards Halo. No real surprises there. You won't want to be seeing a Halo Orianna in combination with a Babip Hecarim, because that could certainly be a recipe for disaster. Kalista the ban away from Peace as well, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, getting rid of a bit of early lane priority. Kalista Leona can be quite dangerous to deal with. And again, if it's difficult to deal with an Ezreal and a Karma, you add in a layer of complexity there, particularly even at level 6, a bit of extra mobility, a bit of extra all-in threat level 1 that a Kalista can provide. I think that is a good ban. The Evelyn ban, I do think that, you know, the 1-2 here from Order is super curious because Graves can also flex to solo lanes in the same way that Viego can flex to jungle if need be. So lots of possibilities really are there for them. Now, they don't get absolute counter pick, right? They still have to reveal at least all 5 of their champions before Peace do. So I like that Tally and Halo have the opportunity, if they want, to pick a flexible champion here and hold on to that 5th pick.
We'll see where this one's going to be angled from Violet. Mid lane, another one of Halo's comfort champions, the Syndra. Not something that we're too surprised to see, just another control mage in mid. And that'll work nicely with the composition that Peace are starting to put together.
I mean, that's basically blind though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You would assume that it's Viego top Graves jungle until we see otherwise. So Chungy sees the Syndra. Your conventional counters that I wouldn't expect to see are the Vladimir and the Echo. Galio was what I was thinking as well. You've got a Leona that can work really nicely with it. Viego that can definitely combo decently well with it. I'm glad we're not going to see this because Leona's already locked in. If we do, I might just up and leave. But Galio I like from Chungy as of how it combos with the team. In saying that, I've seen a lot of Syndras run away with this matchup. That's my only concern.
Yeah, there is that. And I don't mind giving the final counter pick over to Tally up in that top lane as well for Peace. You know, you put a lot of onus on him being a player that's returning from overseas to be able to have a good solid performance and give him all the tools and resources that is going to require. So what it eventuates in is the Sivir down in bot, which is not a bad pick into Ezreal and Karma. You know, you obviously like to get those spell shields going, keep the mana flowing quite nicely, and against that pokey kind of bot lane, that's definitely going to be an option. Not to mention it gives your composition that extra move speed that it requires to, you know, maybe get on top of the likes of the move speed that's being thrown in there from Karma as well. And then obviously Jace up in top, and as far as that matchup is concerned, a little bit of a range advantage, I suppose, for Tally. And he's obviously played quite a lot of Viego himself, so he'll sort of know the ins and outs of what he needs to be doing in that one. But what are your thoughts on the two drafts as a whole? I feel like Peace have got onto a lot of comfort champions once again, so that is a tick in my book. But I'm excited to see what we're going to get through from Order here. You know, I like watching Kevion Graves. I have a lot of faith in Puma and Beats at the moment. I feel like they're doing really, really well as a bot lane. And so I think for me, probably the big question mark is on Chungy in mid, on that Galio. You know, whether or not he's going to get behind or whether or not he's going to be able to influence the game here, I think dictates a lot.
Yeah, it really does. And for me, right, he is the only magic damage on this team. So there is a lot of pressure around the mid laner of Order, who is also notorious for falling behind, right? Just sacrificing farm in mid to survive. I would say that's not ideal in this game. Maybe he wants to have a little bit more priority, be more proactive with the rest of his team. Just looking at how the rest of the team works around him as well, there is a bit of aggression that you can see from Leona Roams, from Graves ganking in mid lane, definitely possible with that setup, and their team fighting is fantastic overall. On the Peace side of the coin here is poking bottom lane, poking top laner, a lot of pick potential that can come from their mid and jungle. It's not the Nidalee for Babip, right? They're not going to go shooting gallery down a single lane until they win, which we did see in their single win in their last 5 games against Mammoth. But it does still harken back to that just a little bit, right? Shades of their success that we've rarely seen from them of late is still there in the composition. Babip's Hecarim, which did go 6-0 before they lost to Gravitas, there's still a lot there to speak towards. Violet can definitely try and control this lane with Appy there on the Karma. Halo's the place that I think needs to also, similar to Chungy, not fall behind.
Ooh, hang on a second. Let's see what we get out of this one. 5 stack in the bot lane from Order. The timing not good for Appy. Forces the flash. Beats connecting Zenith Blade. And that is Violet. Locked down and deleted. Chungy, I think he had to flash taunt to get on top of him just to make sure that Violet didn't have the opportunity to use any summoner spells to get out of that one. But overall, first blood for Order.
Pretty big play there from Order. I like the rehearsed strategies that we get out of both of these teams. You can see they clearly both had a plan in mind, which is always engaging, right, the first couple minutes of this game. But very clearly one side comes out on top here, and with the summoners that go missing, early game gets very interesting to watch.
Yeah, a lot to think about, and I think I'll give you some time to stew it over here, Rusty, as I do bring Midlord into the conversation. Coach and draft god for Peace. How are you doing today, Midlord?
Hi, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. And wanted to ask you a few questions. The first one, maybe not an enjoyable one. Some recent struggles for Peace. You've lost 4 out of 5 of your last games. And obviously Tally coming into the roster hasn't had the impact maybe that you would have wanted. But what do you think are the reasons for your struggles coming through from the last couple of weeks?
That's very sad because in fact we didn't find a better way in this patch. So we just have tried to test some new things. So we just keep losing. But I think in the future everything will be fine.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a reasonable time, I suppose, for Peace to be doing some experimenting. Obviously, try to get it all sorted before playoffs. What are your thoughts on this matchup against Order and how Order has been performing lately?
I think this matchup is very good because we have a long range and the landing phase, which each line is better than them.
Fair enough.
They have hard to engage on us. Because we have a Karma.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the draft a little bit then. You know, obviously you've mentioned the Karma, you've talked about the range coming maybe through from the Syndra and the Jace. Are you happy with the draft that you've got?
Yeah, this draft is pretty well and suit for us to engage on them. We have a hack room and hack room Karma, Syndra. It's very easy to engage.
Awesome. All right, well, hopefully things are going to work out quite nicely for you. Midlord, thank you very much for the interview, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Cheers. Yeah, not too much, going on beyond that early sort of fight, Rusty. Everything has been fairly standard fare since then.
Yeah, I like what Midlord said in his interview, though, about having winning lanes. I think more than anything else, that's their biggest point of power, but Order really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, well, fastest first blood. How about fastest second blood on offer here for Order as well? Beats is on top of Violet. You can tell who they're trying to shut down at the moment. He's 0 and 2 with 10 CS at 4 minutes into the game. It's not a fun time to be an AD carry. The TP invested in by Tally as well as Maximize. It's a party in the bot lane, and Order are the ones that are coming off better.
Now, Babip is going to be able to counter jungle a lot here. You can see the difference in jungle in terms of farm is significant, but a kill goes the way of Kevy. Just quickly looking at lane states, because that is the most important thing after an event that happens in bottom when all 5 people show up. You've got a teleport from Tungy to top to push the wave in to crash it, and you have Maximize with the freedom to walk mid where the wave was coming towards Order. So I think in terms of how this plays out, as long as the Galio doesn't die top lane right now and that wave crashes, that is a monstrous victory for Order across the map. Teleports expended from both teams. Those winning lanes get waves forced and crashed, and a lot of free resets here for Order as well as the 2 kills going onto Violet early. I don't think you could ask for more to start this game off if you're an Order fan, and really just reeling now if you're Peace.
This is not a bot lane that you really want to get behind against either, because Sivir starts to get a little bit oppressive with those boomerangs getting tossed out, although I will note Puma isn't going for, the lethality build here. He's actually gone for, a bit more standard with the lethal tempo, and so he's looking for the auto attacks more so. But even still, you want to make sure you don't get behind a Sivir lane, especially when there's a Leona in tow, right? Leona just so good at punishing when you get out of position, and all the freedom in the world right now for Beats to do that. He's got the early boots pick up, so he'll be looking to roam.
Yep.
And Violet and Appy are going to be playing catch-up, especially considering, right, Ezreal, he's gone straight into the tier. You're going to take a little while to get going here.
Let's go one step further than that, shall we? 3 members of Peace have gone straight into the tier. So
yeah, true.
Imagine you are a Hecarim and you're trying to find a lane to gank. All 3 of them have tier. All 3 of them are looking to scale and buy some time as well, just as much as they are looking to control their lanes. So what I would normally say is if you have, say you've got 3 winning lanes from level 1, you're feeling pretty confident about that, you go triple tier, then really you're just looking to have a jungler farm to 6, play for objectives, and the tier kind of just gets you through laning phase a little bit worse than a kill item, Yep. Now that they've fallen behind through some nice play bottom from Order, they haven't been able to just win their lanes simply by existing in their lanes, and they've gone for tier. It could be worse.
Oh, here comes the charge in from Babip, and that doesn't look like it's going to be too fun for Chungy, but luckily he's got Flash. Gets himself out alive. A little bit invested in the fight there from Peace, but certainly take that.
That's a big deal, though, looking at junglers. So really unfortunate for Babip that gank isn't successful. This wave will crash in top lane. Babip uses ult, Halo does not. But at the same time as Babip's ulting mid, Kevy's level 4.
Oh, Babip on the gank train at the moment. Maximize! Forced to ult and flash to get away to safety. So Babip, while he's not having any quote-unquote success in terms of finding kills, he's definitely pulled off a couple of successful ganks.
Yeah, he's having major success having pressure around the map. The trade-off for the fights that happen bottom is that Babip gets to counter jungle, gets a 2-level lead over Kevy, and has used that to gank twice to get summoner spells. He can return to both of those lanes, particularly when his ultimate is back up. And that Onslaught of Shadows could net them multiple kills and give them a lot of potential to get ahead in this game. Yeah. Kevy gets to 5, but has stopped farming. The enemy blue buff is there to take.
Looks like they are going to take it as well. Appy just going on a little bit of a journey to check that one out, but well and truly gets the information that that is not an area of the map that Peace wants to be in at all. It's not quite going to get Kevy to level 6, but this dragon will. He's about 1 tick away from it, and he's going to be doing his best to make sure that dragon is secured for Order with all the priority they've got in the bot lane, and of course the fact that Kevy's a bit stronger than Babip at the moment. at least in terms of the items that he's managed to grab. I don't think that they're going to be having too many difficulties getting the dragon here. And Kevy will look for a reset pretty shortly. 1.2k in the bank as well, so he's having a pretty good game for himself, and we can only imagine that's going to continue with the scaling that you do generally get through from Graves.
A bit of cheeky catch-up experience there, jungler of Order, able to do a lot of work because he has the team backing him up, and that really is the state of the game. Babip is going to be able to go straight to the Herald. Of course, it wasn't spawned at the moment Drake was being done, so there is an opportunity that Order will be able to get here in time. But I think there's just a little bit too much priority there from the lanes of Peace to really enable anything.
Yeah, Kevin not too interested, a bit more busy down in the bot side of the jungle with the red buff. He's got the Raptors on the spawn there as well. And again, still hasn't reset just yet, so he's now sitting on 1.5. And you never really want to be fighting when you have so much money in your back pocket. Do see some roams coming through from bot, and even a flash from Beats there as well. Coming through is Appy with the chains onto Chungy. They know he doesn't have flash. Babip on sort of shadows, gets on top of him and finishes him off. That's a kill for Peace, their first of the game. And they'll certainly be hoping for a few more where that came from.
And they're just going to look to clear this mid wave. That was Hecarim, Syndra ultimates that were used. You've got the flashes used by Halo and Appy, as well as the exhaust that had to be chucked onto Kevy there towards the back end of that fight. As something on the board for Peace, it brings them within 100 gold or thereabouts of their opponents. The summoner gets used earlier, and they're able to convert that into a kill. That's the most important part here for Peace, because they're finally turning things into meaningful and tangible gold values.
Yeah. Do have Boots 2 completed for Chungy, and he's actually got the Predator at the moment. So, be interesting to see where he sends that. Ultimate online for the mid laner too. So this will be where we start to see Chungy influencing the map. Here might be an opportunity as Maximize is pushed under the tower with Babip lurking. Kevy is on the top side of the map as well, able to help out, and actually gets a nice little boop onto Babip with that blast cone. Maximize going to send himself over the wall, and Babip is caught out, nowhere to go. Nice work from Kevy, really. It all comes down to that blast cone.
Yeah, I mean, that's really clean from Kevy, and really well done again from Order in terms of how quickly they're able to rotate to the play to help the play in the first place, right? Like, the fact that they've picked Galio is a clear indicator. The fact that Galio is there first, exactly what you want them to do, executing their comp nicely. Another kill goes down. This time it is not going to be onto Violet, so they're starting to open up on the map a little bit more. And any advantages Babip had are starting to dwindle as Kevy gets active on the Rift.
Kevy looking for something in the mid lane. Chungy doesn't quite have flash available, but very nearly will. Still, he's going to go straight on forward. That taunt will indeed connect, and Kevy, he's a Graves. He's got plenty of damage. Able to layer it down on top of Halo. And that is the end of that. Mid lane going to be pushed in, and that's some plates on.
I mean, that's just such an insane buffering of spells, isn't it, right? The fact that you can Justice Punch through the Scatter the Weak, the fact that you're actually able to dash when you're being pushed back. Definitely just really sad timing there for Halo. I think you can cancel it if you're a little bit slower, but because he's able to buffer it, yeah, easy kill. Well played.
It's got to be one of those weird interactions where if you get it while he's doing the dash, you can cancel it, but
like
not
Tristana,
before.
right?
Yep. Yeah. Tristana's another one of those annoying ones sometimes, but oh well. It's good news for Kevy. It's not the end of the world either for Halo. He has teleport, so he just ports back in. It's only the one plate loss and doesn't lose too many creeps off of the back of it, but it is still some prio going over to Order, and they're starting to snowball this lead a little bit, up to 1.5 or so. I guess back down to about 1k, but regardless of that, Dragon in the back pocket as well, and starting to feel that pressure being executed by Kevy all over the map.
Yeah, and you can't say that you dislike the team fighting of Order at all, right? Once they hit mid-game, they're able to execute onto the Rift as 5. I mean, it's a pretty dangerous composition to deal with. And ultimately, while their magic damage is building a Shirelia's as Galio, there's not really a lot of tanks that exist on Peace's comp.
Hold this thought, because there's going to be a little bit of a shenanigan up in the top lane. Beats actually forces the flash from Tally with that solar flare. And maybe even averts disaster for Maximize, because Babip was lurking. Kevy and Chungy once again in the mid lane. They know Halo does not have flash. He doesn't have a stopwatch. He doesn't have a life. And he doesn't get to play the game either, at least as far as Kevy is concerned. Another kill comes through for Order at the cost of the top lane tower.
Yeah, it'll be the first turret of the game going the way of Tally as well. That should be his Eclipse in base as he comes out onto the map now. He is going to be a very powerful Jace that can have a major influence on team fights. Has immediately teleported to mid-outer and is looking to see if he can influence. But I don't think they'll be able to really get towards the Drake in time. And Maximize able to respond with a teleport of his own. Herald, as the observers are showing us, Jordan did get a second charge off.
Yep. Well, I don't think Order's particularly perturbed by that fact. More than interested in focusing on the dragons here, and there is an Infernal Soul on offer, which is, you know, still a ways away for Order. But Infernal Soul on a Graves or a Sivir, I'm not feeling too happy if I'm Peace and that occurs. We do have a channel from Beats here on the Hex Flash, but there was a ward. Kevy doesn't look like he cares. Wants that kill anyway. Chungy in on top of Halo and gets the kill regardless. Very well executed from Order. They are just bullying Halo.
Yeah, they're absolutely just putting him in the bin. They're sick of Halo. They said you shouldn't be playing Syndra, and the Syndra pick is being punished. It was blind. So I don't think anyone should be super surprised that their fourth pick, blind Syndra, does get punished in some way. But a lot of this is a result of weathering a laning phase that can be quite rough for Chungy through plays on the rest of the map. You know, he's able to get his Merc treads pretty untouched from it. And now Halo, barring supports, has the lowest gold on the map, competing only with Violet.
Yeah, that's not good news, is it?
Yeah, that's the carries
ADC
of your team.
Yep. Well, speaking of carries, Violet has picked up the Divine Sunderer for the Ezreal. Gale Force for Puma. So he wants to get a bit aggressive. Maybe, you know, I guess Gale Force you can use in a defensive manner as well, but I always look towards Gale Force as a little bit more of an aggressive tool. Can make the plays as the AD carry when you have that, as opposed to really just relying on everyone else. And so we'll see what Puma can get done. Different itemization than we might have expected.
Yeah, I mean, Gale Force is a very aggressive decision. Usually you get it when your opponents have something that, like, the dash will either save you from or the dash will help you secure the kills for. I would say that right now the Spell Shield should do more than enough for most of the team of Peace, and you'd probably want, like, you could do the lethality build or you could consider like the shield bow, but nevertheless, Puma's a good enough player to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, I think the lethality build makes a lot of sense when you look at Peace's composition, not having a massive tanky threat, but Puma obviously of a different mind, and he has actually been one of the standouts for the split, I'd say, actually. So you really have no reason to doubt him. I'm quite excited to see what he can do with this Gale Force, and looks like he's going to be able to grab himself a top lane tower relatively shortly, if unanswered. Kevy's also there, but they won't actually opt to throw in the Rift Herald. So they're going to put that one in the back pocket.
Yeah, they'll bring Kevy in to make sure the turret is secured in a timely manner. Helps with the resets and a bit of tempo on the map. Peace, you can see Max sitting at his turret, knows that he's on the weak side of the rift as Kevy shows himself top. And that is, of course, where the Hecarim is. So he's just going to lose minions. This is what you have to do as a top laner, everyone. A lot of you die because you try and catch this wave, and the Hecarim, who was at Gromp, just sees a free kill. But now he's got the Leona here. He might show on the next wave. The question is, how does he show, Jordan? Does he show like he's weak, or does he show like he wants to kill straight off the bat with the Leona ult?
Oh, well, Blast Cone for Beats gives him opportunities, and the Zenith Blade will connect. Solar Flare down on top of Tally as well. That man is not going anywhere, except to his death. Might take a little while for Maximize to get it done, but eventually Tally will fall. And there is another kill in the back pocket of Order. Kevy might have felt like he was in trouble for a second there, but the Blast Cone makes it easy for him to escape, not to mention the fact that Puma was there to help out. 7-1 right now for Order, and you could not ask for a better situation, having just called the Rift Herald. Mid tower about to go down, might not even take the Rift Herald charge.
It won't lose any health from the charge. We'll get a second one off here at full health. So the max damage potentially on this second charge. Unfortunately, the time of the animation has been expended. So they lose a bit of time here pushing this second turret. It does mean that Peace will be able to defend this one either way. But still, the Herald is successful at getting a charge off in mid. The kill that happens bottom is massive. And Beats has honestly just rising star of the LCO right now, isn't he? The improvements that we're seeing from the bottom lane of Order has been huge. And this is one of the few games where Beats hasn't been stealing every kill from his teammates. And This is like the ultimate in support performances right now from this Leona.
Yeah, you love to see it. Everything working perfectly for Order. Not a single lane losing. Jungle's having a great time as well. This will be a tough road back into the game for Peace if they can find a way to do it. Dragon about to spawn, 10 seconds or so, and Order have full priority of the mid lane, full control of the river. And the Dragon will be theirs for free. Halo might look to take the top tower in response. I don't think that Maximize is going to be able to do a whole lot about that, but it's a bitter pill to swallow for Peace. Now they're sitting on an Infernal Soul on offer for Order when the next Dragon spawns, and all they get is a tier 2 outer turret. I'm not sure that they're going to be too pleased with how that has progressed overall.
I mean, to be honest, given the changes, right, that's 600 gold into the pockets of a 0-3 Syndra, who is 40 CS ahead of Chungy.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be mad with that outcome. Ultimately, yeah, it's really good to have the Infernal Soul point here for Order. I think they'll be chuffed with their state on the map. But for Peace, in a losing situation, to be able to get that extra money, it keeps them within, 1,000 to 2,000 gold, which is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good point, considering you look at this on face value, you think 7-1, you think 3 Dragons, 3 towers to 2. The scoreline looks like it's ballooned out a lot, but at least in terms of gold value, it's still reasonably close. Peace aren't that far behind. Decent farm coming through for all of their members. They're sort of keeping up with what Order have been able to throw at them. We need to see just a couple more items completed, and then maybe the composition does start to come online for Peace, right? Violet is not too far away from the Manamune. The 2-item spike for Ezreal, and really starts to get rolling from there.
Yeah, and he's pretty behind in gold, but it's a cheap item build. So he's able to compensate for that a little bit. Halo's the one who has a more questionable build cost, having to go towards what looks like an Archangel's next. It can be quite expensive to complete that item, but will most likely have the 2 items before the next dragon, right? Before the next soul point dragon at that.
Yeah.
Which is definitely something that both teams will be putting their resources towards. And so we are going to have to keep a keen eye on those second item completions, those big item spikes that exist. And in the 3 minutes leading up to this objective, what actually happens on the map, right? You've got a Baron that exists. You've got a composition that can poke pretty well on Peace's side and start to whittle down the health bars of Order. And then you've got a composition that can engage extremely hard to take down Peace.
I think it is interesting as well to see a Shurelius here for Chungy in the mid lane. You'd be maybe looking towards a Proto Belt for a Galio. But
yeah, I was thinking Proto Belt.
It seems like he's more than happy to play for the team as opposed to himself, I think, in this situation. And on a more supportive mid laner, that's probably not a bad shout. He's got the Zhonya's there as well, which is what you really do need when you're in the thick of things. So I think with the Shurelius layered on top of On the Hunt from Puma, very difficult to escape the composition that Order has put together here if the fights start to break out and even break down into sort of skirmishes.
I feel a little bit like the Shurelius is fine, but your composition already has a Sivir, so I'm wondering if it is something you could consider as overkill, right? Just
Not to mention he's also
ult.
got Predator.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good because it speeds up not just you, but the whole team. In saying that, I think Proto Belt, higher AP build with your composition, I would like that personally, but I'm not a Galio player, so you do what you like, Mr. Galio. I'm going to continue to play my Orianas in mid lane.
Not a bad shout, to be honest. And we're sort of in the eye of the storm at the moment, aren't we? 1 minute and a half until that dragon does pop. Both teams are more than happy to just do some wave clearing, establish some vision control all over the map, and that's about it. We're not looking for any fights at the moment. We're just looking to grab items, scale up, reset time for Order. What are we going to get through here from the Sivir and the Leona? A couple of agility cloaks for Sivir. I'm not sure if that's a misfire or if he's actually opted to go for 2 cloaks of agility. Either way, he's got them.
Man's just spiking out of his mind. Knows that he's not going to finish a full item, I guess. Not even a stopwatch. He knows that he's safe. He's going to do damage.
Oh, over the wall goes Order. Kevy and Beats in the thick of things. And Chungy not quite able to land quickly enough to get that knock up onto Babip. Forces the onslaught of shadows out from the Hecarim.
I think Peace are happy with that, though. You know, the fact that none of them die is obviously big, but the fact that a big part of their combo goes missing here for Order, that's 4 ultimates that are gone. And then Ignite from the Leona. I mean, I think you're sitting pretty to poke.
Yeah, you're looking at it though. The Solar Flare is going to come off cooldown just as Dragon spawns. The same for Kevy's ultimate. Chungy's obviously going to have to wait a little bit longer for his, and so too will Puma. In fact, actually, Puma's not going to take too long to get that ultimate online either. So it might not be the worst thing in the world for Order. The only thing that they're really going to be missing here is the Galio ultimate once this Dragon fight does ensue.
Yeah, but the question is how much health are they going to be missing as well, right? Puma's going to have to go to this mid wave to heal up. Kevy's lucky there was some honey fruit there, and this buys a lot of time for Peace to actually set up at the pit. They're sacrificing mid priority. They are committing themselves to the Infernal Drake. This could determine almost the game.
Kevy almost gets caught there. Chungy did use Shirelia's earlier on the piece, by the way, so that's not available just yet. We're waiting for the Sivir ultimate to come online if we're to see an engage from Order. Beats Hex Flash over the wall, won't find too much. Damage down on the Dragon, that's Infernal Soul secured. Babip didn't even have a chance of smiting that. He was too far away, and Order scurry away scot-free, courtesy of On the Hunt. I think it's probably a bad name for the ultimate at that point, but either way, they do manage to get away with everything that they wanted and more.
Yeah, definitely on the run with that, On the Hunt. But look, they get it. The question isn't, is there a cost, right? They just get to recall. Peace were in the exact same position as them on the map, so you can't afford to run over to the Baron, make a trade. You can't actually do anything. You just accept reality. But Peace have just decided to give away an Infernal Soul with no contest. They poke. They sit there for a long time. They consider, but they never see the go button. And that's the thing. Their composition doesn't have a Leona. Their composition is all about trying to bait Order into coming at you so that you can disengage and kill them on that disengage. Didn't work in mid. Even though the engage failed, it didn't work in mid. And now the Dragon, just from under their noses, sniped away.
Yeah, Infernal Soul, massive pickup. I mean, obviously there's debates on what's the best Dragon in the game, but Infernal Soul definitely not a bad one to have here. Extra damage coming through for Kevy makes the one-shot potential a lot easier. Beats is feeling supremely confident, eager to Hex Flash over that wall, but recognizes better of it. And will decide to back away. I mean, even Chungy, like, not often on a Galio are you really going to be one-shotting people, but when you have the Infernal Soul, you know, helps out just enough that maybe you get that extra ticket damage over. And he's also 3-1 and 2, so he's definitely not doing too shabby for himself. Gets on top of one of the carries, they're going to die.
Kevy gives him a bit of a how you going there with the collat. Just chucks out the ult. Keeps them humble. Vision in the pit does need to be cleared here. That is the next step for Beats, who's going to Hex Flash over the wall.
Hex Flash, isn't
oh,
he?
Isn't he? He's having a great time. But I'm starting to feel the bindings tighten on Peace's chance in this game. You know, the fact that that Vision has now been cleared. There's one good ward actually just to the left of the pit.
I tell you
Otherwise,
what, what tells the story is that Shirelia's has only just now been finished for Appy. 26 minutes in the game. He has been so gold-starved. Onslaught of Shadows forced out from Babip again as an escape tool.
They will see this though.
Onslaught of Shadows, you take that.
So they'll have vision of Puma. They'll see Kevy's health bar from this ward. The opportunity to get into the pit is almost impossible for Babip though with no blast cone.
Chungy needs to be a bit careful though. He is getting chunked down. 2k on the Baron. The steal not quite secured for Babip, but the fight, is it favoring Peace at the moment? Well, a 1 for 0, but Violet is uncontested for now. Here comes the chump in from Chungy. Doesn't result in a knock-up. Tally and Violet still in the back lines, and Puma has got flash available. So he's going to use that to go over the Baron pit and survive. So only the one player goes down. It's Beats. You'll take that. 3 for 1. And Baron. Order. Another successful fight.
Yeah, I mean, 100% Order happy with this game at the moment. Infernal Soul translates to a Baron. Maybe a kill under Tally here. 2 teleports in.
Tally in the spot of bother. Maximizes there. Chungy is there. Zonya's, or rather, Stopwatch, not going to save you. Violet doing his best to just fire some spells in there, but he was never going to get out of that one alive, Tally, unfortunately. And so Order, the pressure continues to mount on Peace.
Certainly does, and I think that kill actually translates into the minimum inhibitor though, so that's the thing. This game, I think Order have played expertly with the lead. They waited for the Infernal Soul. Once they had the Soul, they played methodically around their vision control. Even missing a ward, it doesn't matter. They play it well enough to force ultimates, and now they're looking to end.
Well, here we go. On the hunt is Pot. Bit of extra mobility here for Order to play with as they dance around the turret. Onslaught of Shadows available for Babbitt, but he really wants to wait until Tally is alive before he uses it, because a 5-on-4 at the moment, you're just not going to win that. And so Order are more than happy to play this waiting game. Let their minions do the work for them. Tally back in the mix. And Peace could well look for the turn. Oh, Halo! Where did he go? He's done a magic trick, I think, there, Kevin. He's just said, see you later, Halo. And I think see you later game for Peace right now. All of the Order fans in the chat will rejoice. It's a massive win for them. The string of form continues 14-2, and in less than 30 minutes, they dispatch of Peace. I can only imagine what Maximize is yelling about right now. Surely some expletives, but either way, they're going to be very happy with that. A big win for Order. They continue to push the issue, and now 9-5. They're just behind Pentanet and Chiefs.
I mean, that gets them closer and closer to top 3 in the standings. You know, this is a big win for Order. I think you can see the happiness on their faces, first of all. Peace is a team that you can never underestimate, and I don't think they did today. I think they played very well overall, and they should be super proud of their performance today, because that was just a clean, good win, and they're stringing together so many of those in a row that they really are starting to rise up to the cream of the crop.
All right, Rusty, you saw the magic trick from Kevy. Now the magic trick from me. Watch this. Wow! Now there's 3 of us.
I love it. Props for the confidence to do something
I hate that I knew it was
Jordan.
coming too. It's like there's nothing else that it could have been done there as magic.
I thought, you know,
Oh,
maybe...
hey, Mac, how did you get here?
Oh, no idea. It was probably your thing you
No,
did.
you got to do the jazz hands as well.
Oh, the
mate.
jazz hands, sorry.
Yeah. What did you think of that game?
That was a great game. And I put a lot of channel points on that, and I think I'm going to get a lot of channel points back now. So very happy with how that one went. And I also tipped the prediction in my favor, so I got that correct. It wasn't just Twitch chat, it was me as well. Haha, the imposter, he's back. But a very damn good game from the get-go. Of course, the fastest first blood needs to be mentioned, as well as potentially the fastest second blood. Just a whole lot of action going on. Peace, they did try to fight back, but Order just had such an early power spike that they managed to stay in control. Got that Dragon Soul without losing a single dragon, and then from there it was just downhill. Of course, that could have been the turning point if Babbitt managed to get the Smite Steal on the Baron, but unfortunately for Peace, it did not happen. And again, they've got another L, which is unfortunate for them because we are still waiting to see what this team is capable of. The question is just, is it going to happen before the end of this split? They've still got another week and a half to go, so another round and a half to go at least, rather. So hopefully they can get everything in order. But other than that, look, Order are playing absolutely perfectly, Rusty.
They absolutely are. I mean, yeah, Peace find themselves at, what, 7-7 in the standings. A team that was a finalist last split that everyone would say have upgraded their roster are now even in their win-loss. And Order in 9-5, very good stead for the rest of this season. And I feel like that was such a good team victory from them.
Yeah.
I personally lean towards Beats, again, saying that was a sick performance from the Leona overall. He's been improving so much back-to-back. I can't compliment the bottom lane of Order enough, but again, it was a full team deal. Like, Chungy's early movements and everything were all included.
Yeah, very, very true. Now we do have Nat down on the side lanes ready with the post-match. So Nat, hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Do you like that one?
Good. Yeah, it was a really great game. It was, I don't know, close. I want to say close, but also not really close. Can you have that? Close but not close?
Yes, you can say that. Now, who do you have to talk to that was in the close but not close game?
I am going to be chatting to Chungy in the post-game interview. Thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations on the win. How does it feel to be Peace this time around?
Yeah, it felt really good. The team environment was like really off because that was probably one of our cleanest games that we've ever played, like ever.
Yeah, it was an absolutely outstanding performance for you guys. Now, we see you pick up the Graves again, but I want to ask you a little bit about the Galio pick and kind of the draft as a whole, but mainly that pick.
I only picked it because Halo picked Syndra mid. So like I like picking Gallia into majors because like Gallia is like an MR champion into majors, and it just really facilitates Kevy a lot in the early game. So like I'm allowed to move around the map with him. Yeah.
Yeah, when we saw that, is that something you guys have been working on? And when it comes between you two in that dynamic, who's doing a lot of the shot calling and the gate initiation calling?
I think it's more of a team communication thing. The level 1 Kevy called because he watched like a Peace VOD and he saw that like Violet and Appy ran bot side, so we all just 5-man bot side and we got that kill. And it just snowballed from there when Appy burnt his flash, so like because we were able to create that 5-man dive at like level 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's just practice right there paying off. You guys looked so good there, and what an awesome kill at the start that you had as well. When we get into the later game, what was your win condition and how did you guys make sure that you didn't falter and have such a clean game?
So we knew that they couldn't do anything after that, like first 2 or 3 kills. It was more of top, like Max had to play the safest because his lane was the most versatile, or volatile, I mean. Yeah, so we just had to play off like our objectives. We knew we would win every single fight, and yeah.
That's it. So simple. The last thing I do want to know though is what was Max screaming at the end there? Is there anything that's safe for broadcast? I have to know.
Oh, like he just screamed how like we were going to Worlds and like how that was how that was our cleanest game ever. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations again on the win.
Thank you.
Chungy, glorious as always, just happy, and of course it was a very clean victory, so you can see in their camp they're all very excited. I could see him yelling, and all I could think of Max, because he was looking off screen, I thought he was in the Order office and he was probably making the next Order content video. I guess the camera guy might have just been there filming him, and that's what I was thinking, because no one else was really yelling. He was probably like, "Oi, shut up, you know, I'm trying to film content, boys," like he did in the last one. Remember when Kevy tried to speak when the interview was happening? Bloody Kevy. Now that's a nice way to end match number 3. I feel like that was a very solid interview, Nat. Now coming up, Legacy and Mammoth. Are we excited for this one?
Yes. Yeah. Always.
Yes. We certainly are. I'm actually getting very ahead of myself because you guys thought that it was over. It's certainly not over. We didn't do the play that delivered. Do you want to know who that was? It was Beats. He had a stunning performance all across the map, setting up a whole bunch of those kills and initiation there on the... He was Leone, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Very damn good job. Just rotating around nicely and making it happen. So 42% kill participation, 44 wards placed, just allowing Order to see every single thing that was going on, Rusty.
Yeah, it may only have 6 assists, but most of them were extremely impactful, right? For the early level 1s that happened, the ganks that he gets off in mid, the ganks that he gets off for Max in top lane as well, the most volatile lane, as stated by Chungy. I think Beats has been continuing to go above and beyond my expectations and is constantly impressing and really is a shining light for me in this roster.
Such a very damn good job. Now, Jordan, do you think that there was anyone else in contention for the player that delivered that certainly could have got it that game?
I mean, Kevy and Chungy, I felt like had a really, really good time there as well, and I think they are definitely deserving of a mention. I thought Chungy, you know, like he got behind a little bit early, obviously because of the early kill, I think, that went on to him. I feel like he was having a rougher time in mid, but then very quickly the tables just turned. Like Kevy was mid like 2 or 3 times. Chungy was able to get in and get on top of the Syndra, and they were able to find that kill like maybe it was even 3 times. So they really did just bully Halo out of that game. It felt like Halo just didn't get a chance to play the game. So yeah, I mean, for me, the mid-jungle duo of Order definitely deserves a little special mention there as well.
Yeah, and let's see if that one continues, because we do have a Super Week, which means one more day of games, but still one more game today. Legacy and Mammoth coming up just after this break. Exclamation playlist, and listen to today's 6th song from your boys at Rufus.
See what we get out of this one. 5 stack in the bot lane from Order. The timing not good for Appy. Forces the flash. Beats connecting Zenith Blade. And that is Violet. Locked down and deleted. Beast, by the way, so that's not available just yet. We're waiting for the Sivir ultimate to come online if we're to see an engage from Order. Beats X-Flash over the wall, won't find too much. Damage down on the Dragon, that's Infernal Soul secured. Babip didn't even have a chance of smiting that. Peace could well look for the
Turn